Hey everybody, wanted to make a very quick video today just letting you know that I have two more great Beatles albums that I just listed to my website, needlemeetsvinyl.com, and they are Beatles for Sale, which is a fantastic album, and this is a stereo mix of Beatles for Sale, and The White Album, also a stereo mix. And let me show you what these records look like. This is Beatles for Sale. This is a UK stereo pressing, and it sounds absolutely fantastic. And it has HTM, which means Harry T. Moss. Now, a lot of people, I do realize that sometimes I will say these initials on these pressings and just kind of not explain what they are. And I should definitely slow down and maybe explain a little bit more about that. So HTM is Harry T. Moss, and he is the person, the engineer, that cut a lot of these Beatles pressings in the 1970s, and he did excellent work. And not all of his pressings are fantastic, but most of them are really great. And this happens to be one of them. And this is from the mid 1970s, and again, this is a UK pressing. And it's got HTM on both sides, and it really just sounds fantastic. It has that great analog sound that you really miss from a lot of the reissues of the Beatles albums, including like the '09 Masters and stuff like that. I've talked about that over and over again. That's why I praise these 60s and 70s pressings of the Beatles albums, just because they have that original warmth, and it's just the way the Beatles originally made these records, and that to me is the best way to possibly listen to these albums. So we got Beatles for Sale, which is one of my favorite kind of forgotten Beatles. It's not a forgotten Beatles album. None of the Beatles albums are forgotten, but you know what I mean. Like, doesn't get the same praise as like Revolver or Sgt. Pepper, and it at the same time doesn't deserve the same praise as Revolver or Sgt. Pepper. But it also doesn't deserve to be overlooked because it's got some great songs. So that's Beatles for Sale. And then this is the Beatles' White Album, released in 1968. And this again is a UK stereo pressing. And this again is from the 1970s. Now, for the White Album is a very hard album, for me at least, to find really clean copies, UK copies, because you have two records instead of one, so you have two records to worry about being in great condition. And then on top of that, the White Album there are so many different pressings of the White Album. So finding that excellent one, it's a lot of fun to do, but it takes a long time. So a lot of people ask me, like, how come it takes so long for you to get copies of like the White Album or Revolver or Abbey Road? It's because those key Beatles albums, which are arguably a lot of people's favorite Beatles albums, are very hard to come by. Because, for example, like Revolver, the pressing Revolver that I think is the best is a German pressing from the early 1970s. And those are really hard to find, especially now, and especially in really good condition, because on my website I only list albums if they are at least excellent or better. And when I say excellent, I mean the grading system I use. There's mint, near mint, and then excellent, and then below excellent would be like VG plus. And very rarely, I think I've had maybe 2 or 3 albums that have been VG plus on my website, and those have been like some like kind of rare jazz albums, or maybe like early on I may have had some albums that were VG plus. But pretty much now and in the last like 4 or 5 months, I've really kind of raised the bar as far as the condition of the records go. I only want to be having just top-notch quality records on the website, and which is obviously great, but it obviously makes it a little bit harder to find the condition to be in tip-top shape. And besides that, if the condition can be absolutely perfectly near mint, but if the sound isn't great, then that's another issue altogether. But this one sounds excellent. And when it comes to the White Album is, in my opinion, and from what I've read and what I've experienced from a lot of pressings, it can lack a lot of low end on the White Album. And you need that low end because the White Album is such a rock album. It's such a, has a lot of deep grooves and just a brilliant, brilliant record. And if you don't have that low end, it can kind of just sound a little bit on the weak side. Thankfully, this one's got the low end that you want. And it's on the Apple label. I probably said this a bunch and you're probably annoyed by it, but again, this is a UK pressing, a stereo UK pressing. And there's the second side. And it's just brilliant, and I love the White Album. I think everyone in the whole world loves the White Album. Here's the second disc. Again, just in beautiful, beautiful condition. And this comes with the original poster and 4 individual photos of the Beatles, like all of the White Albums originally came with. So you get that. I won't bother showing you those, but they're in here and they're in very, very nice condition. And yeah, so if you are interested in picking up the White Album or Beatles for Sale or both, head on over to the website, needlemeetsvinyl.com. Check these out. I've written a whole bunch about both of these records and all the records on the website. And even if you're not interested in picking something up, you can just go to the website and check out the albums, read a little history about each one. And it's all about having fun and checking things out. And it's not all about just selling, because that would be really kind of boring and weird. So the website is also meant to be just a source for information. So anyway, head on over there, check out these albums, and stay tuned for more records. And take care, be healthy, and bye for now.